everyone, this is Katie the Novel Stitcher. It is Monday, March 25th, and this is Flosstube 32. This is a channel where I talk all about the wonderful hobby of cross stitch, share what I'm stitching, any finishes, starts, whips, and haul, and all good things cross stitching. And I also talk about books, and that always comes at the end of my video. And I'm also starting a book club, which I will also talk about a little bit later on in the video. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here, and I've had quite a few new subscribers, thank you so much for checking out my channel. And if you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. I'm inching closer to 2,000 followers, and that would be a really fun milestone to reach. It's not about the number, but it is fun to see a channel grow and to connect with more people and share stitching with more people. Floss tubes do take a bit of work, and so it's always great to have new people drop by and meet some new stitchers. And if you're a returning subscriber, of course, I'm so happy to be here with you again. I try to film every 2 weeks, and I think about you a lot in the 2 weeks while I'm stitching, and I think about your comments, and I try to read and respond to every comment that I possibly can. So I really appreciate when you leave me a comment, when you visit with me. There's names I recognize of people who comment and have been watching from the start, and I always like to hear from you and see what you're stitching on. I definitely am not the most extroverted person in the world, but I like making connections and getting to know people. That's really something I enjoy doing, and so that's kind of why I started filming floss tubes, and so I really like spending time with all of you. So we're gonna dive into it. I have a good bit to share. I don't have any finishes or fully finishes that are recent, but I have a previous fully finish that I thought I would share because Easter's next weekend and it's spring-like, and it's feeling a little bit spring-like here. We wish it was a little bit warmer in southeastern PA, but it'll get there. So I'll share that. I'll share some whips that I've been working on because I'm really focusing on whips this winter. And then I have some floss tubers I'm gonna recommend to you all. I have a little bit of haul. My market haul came, and then another piece of haul that is related to the Stitches and Pages book club. So I will show that off. And then we will get into the actual bookish content, talk about books and what won for Stitches and Pages, which a lot of you might know what book was the winner. If you saw on Instagram, I also posted in my community channel on here, but we'll talk a little bit more about the book club, how you can join, and all of the details later on in the video. And I'll put a timestamp in the description for when that starts if you want to hop right over to that first. But let's talk stitching. So in the past couple weeks, I didn't finish anything. I didn't start anything either, but I didn't finish anything or fully finish anything. But I did want to show you a previous fully finish because it's one of my favorites. And I stitched this last spring. This is Berries in Bloom by Hello from Liz Matthews. And I stitched it on Fiber on a Whim, Cream and Sugar, and I think a 32 count. It's 2/2. And this was part of my Best Bunny sal that I did last spring, where I asked everyone to stitch along with me and stitch anything with a bunny because I really wanted to start this pattern. And bunnies are spring, and it's so cute to see them come out, and then you know that warm weather is coming. So this was super fun to stitch. I think I got this board. It's just an easel. It had, I think, some sort of saying or something inside. I think it was from Big Lots, actually. There's a lot of places where you can go and find things on sale or find cheap little decorative items with sayings that you can kind of transpose into good cross-stitch finishes. So I put this lovely green fabric on the back. I think I might have glued this. It's a little crooked. I think we all kind of struggle, or a lot of us do, with getting our stitching finished straight. It's definitely something I'm working on, but I think it turned out cute anyway. I think I got these at Joann's. Little carrots that I glued to the bottom, and then I made a little bow, put a little bit of velvet there, and just glued that on. And then it came with this handle, which I guess you could hang it if you want, but I just set it up on our TV stand using that. So it's super cute, and I really like the way this one turned out, so I just wanted to share that all with you if you hadn't seen it. And I absolutely loved stitching this pattern by Hello from Liz Matthews. It's so springy and so cute, and I just had a lot of fun with that one. So that was finished last year, but it's fun to share, and it's always fun to be able to pull your cross stitching out when the seasons come around. So next we are going to go to my whips. And so the first whip I worked on, I was feeling like doing something more springy, pulling something out that I hadn't worked on in a while, because a lot of the whips you've seen in the last video, so I wanted something a little different to share and a little different to work on. So I pulled out this one from Carolyn Manning, and this is Baneberry. Oh, I'll put the full picture there. That's a PDF. And I started this last May as part of the Manning May Sal. I think it was run by Bridge in the Museum Stitcher. I think Megan the Seattle Stitcher might have joined in, maybe Cam the Stitcher and or Marjorie Maid, but a bunch of people on Flosstube were stitching any Carolyn Manning design, so I chose this one, and here's where I'm at. So you haven't seen this if you've been watching my channel since last year. It's been a while since I've worked on this one. This is on the Called For, which is a 32 count Star Sapphire. I think it's maybe a Witchell or just a Zweigart. It's maybe a Witchell. It's a stiffer fabric, so it's not the most lovely fabric to work on the way it feels, but I really love the color, and it's not bad to work on. I mean, it's softening up as I use it. It's not super stiff, but it is probably the stiffest fabric I'm working on right now. But I'm using all the Called For DMC, and I think since I showed this last, which you probably wouldn't even remember because it's been so long, but when I pull this out, I worked on some of these leaves needed to get done here. I misplaced this brown. It's just your regular like 869 or something. I don't know where I put it. I probably used it in a different project, but I didn't feel like trying to find it, so I just did the leaves without doing the back stitching, but I'll get back to that. I did these two flowers, and then I did this part here, and I think I did a little of this flower too. So it's really pretty. It's definitely different. It's one of her more different designs. I think she does a lot of more full coverage type ones. Kaleidoscopy is kind of how they feel to me, but this is a slightly different pattern from her. This is my Alice in Wonderland needle minder, but it's really cute. It's fun to stitch, but it's a little bit slower going because these are all just like little elements with the back stitching, and they're all connected a little differently. So there's no like blocks of stitching or more solid stitching. So it takes a little bit longer, but it's gonna be super pretty when it's finished and framed. So I do wanna make more progress on this over the summer, but not one I am clamoring to finish anytime soon. Just one to pull out when I feel like working on it. So that is Baneberry by Carolyn Manning Designs. And then my next whip was Lucky by the Camping Stitcher. I'll put it here. My goal is to finish this one this month. I started around St. Patrick's Day, or maybe I started at the beginning of the month, but super cute. I love Chris the Camping Stitcher. And so here is my progress. I don't know if I need the board, but we'll put it behind just because it's white. It's probably a little bit better. And this is my first foray into 46 count. It's going okay. It's a little bit actually tough to see the holes, and it's a little bit like I can see some of them, but just the way the weave on this fabric is, some others it is a little bit hard, especially when there's parts it's kind of hard to tell. But here, like where the fabric all bunches together, and you can't really tell like where the holes are. So I like how small this is, and it's gonna be really cute, and I think I'll do 46 count on occasion, but I definitely wouldn't do something really big on 46 count, or that's too complex. But for the most part, it's going okay. I haven't had too much frogging. I've been just doing a little of getting around any mistakes I made. This whole motif is really close to this L. It's supposed to be 1 or 2 stitches further away. And once I realized the mistake, I was like, I'm not gonna frog this. It's just gonna be really, really tight and really close in. So I think this one ended up, trying to figure out how to fit everything else in. But that's okay. You wouldn't even know. And it just makes it tighter and cuter. And so this, again, 46 count white bergen. I think I got it like 1, 2, 3 stitch. And then I'm doing my own conversion to Classic Colorworks just to use some of the beautiful Classic Colorworks I have. So Chopped Ives is one I chose. That's like the lightest color. A more medium is Desert Mesquite. And then Mistletoe, which is a nice Christmassy darker green. But this is really cute and it's gonna be fun, and I think I should be able to finish it by the end of the month, which is in a little under a week. So gotta get rolling on this one, but that'll be fun to finish. And I'll definitely do kind of like I'm not gonna frame it, I'll do a different kind of finish. St. Patrick's Day is over. I probably should have gone to the store. I probably still could this weekend and see if there's any like on sale St. Patrick's kind of things, but it'll be easy enough to find some green fabric and different kind of little embellishments to make this a really cute finish. And I like having things that are Irish because my grandmother was from Ireland, lived there until she was about 12, and then they immigrated over to the United States to New York City. And when I was in college, I studied abroad in Ireland because of my grandmother. And I studied abroad in Galway. So it was a great experience, beautiful country if you ever get to visit. And so that was lucky. And then my next whip is Oh Joyous Day. I've seen this one quite a lot from me lately because I really want to make some progress on this. I haven't finished anything large, like a larger sampler or a larger pattern even. And this is my first Blackbird that I've done, so I really want to get this finished. My goal is, if I can do it by the end of May, that would be amazing. I'm not sure about that, but at least by the end of June is my real goal. And you can tell my pattern looks kind of crinkled because I was stitching on this the other day, and I have a cat. She's a tuxedo cat named Scout. She'll be 14 in May. And I had it opened with the pattern laying out, and she just sat down on top of it and went to sleep and was like, this is what I'm doing right now. So I let her do that because I'm not gonna push her off of the pattern, who cares? So this is getting a lot of love from me and from Scout. And that is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. Last time you saw it, I made a lot of progress on this because again, I really want to focus on getting this done. And so last time the bird was almost done. I don't think I had his legs. Let me see how I can hold this on the board. No. I'll flip this over this way. That might work better. I don't know if I'll be able to get the whole thing in. Oh, there we go. I just don't want it to be floppy on you while you're trying to look at it. Anyway, so I finished the bird. I think I had to do his tail and his legs, and then the little flower next to him, and then the house, which is coming along so well. I think Alma stitched this or designed this from Blackbird Designs, and she was doing it around the time I think her son got married, and so Oh Joyous Day was like for their wedding day, and she put like their wedding date and then their initials above the house and Oh Joyous Day. So Alex and I got married last year in December, on December 2nd, and I tried writing in December, and I don't like the way I did this. It's 1/1. I don't love the E. This is the lowercase e. And so obviously you just use the alphabet that she's provided here in this band. And I think that E is like a little strange looking. If I even stitched it right. I think I did stitch it right. So it's a little weird. So I didn't want to do that. I tried to design my own E, but then the D and the C are bigger. I don't know. I'm going to frog that and I'm going to redo it. But I am going to do December 2nd, so I'll figure out how to make that look good. I can always use an alphabet from a different chart as well, or just go with what they have and do the funky E. But anyway, that will be fixed, and then I'll do Oh Joyous Day above the house like she has, and then our initials underneath it. But right now I'm just focusing on that really cool house. It's coming along really well. I love the variegation in the roof and in the house itself. Some of the things I did do a little different for the bird here. I used Avocado by Classic Colorworks because I just couldn't find. I know I have the color that he stitched in, but I couldn't find it and I was being lazy. So I just did that. And then for the house, the color of the window frame and the window itself were far too similar, and so you couldn't really see the difference, so it just looked like a big block of the same color. So I just grabbed a DMC. I forget which one. If you really want to know, you can ask, but I just grabbed a lighter pale yellowish DMC, and so the windows are a bit brighter than what she has in the pattern. All the colors are a little bit brighter though, just the way they came across on this fabric. Oh, this is 36 count Steinbeck by Needle and Flax. It's one of my favorite fabrics. It's absolutely beautiful and so soft. But anyway, I just did that. And so the windows look a little light, but it almost looks like you just have the lights on in the house. Maybe it's early evening and everybody's turned on the light and they're home for the night, in for the night. So that is Oh Joyous Day, and it's getting there, so I'm hoping to finish by June, so we'll see. I know May is going to be busy, and this is 1/2, like I said. So May is going to be busy because tax season will be over, and Alex and I will actually be able to spend time together, so we'll see how much stitching I get done in May, which is why I'm thinking it might be closer to June. And these are some of the colors. This is my lovely, really messy way of handling this for now. I need to get better about this. Probably use all floss drops, but I have some DMC and then some of the fancy floss, the Weeks Dye Works, a Gentle Arts, and all of that. So that's Oh Joyous Day. And then another whip I worked on. Not as much as I wanted to, but I also decided to work on Oh Joyous Day more, and I want to finish Lucky, so that was my choice to not work on this as much. But this is Hometown by Teresa Kogut. This is part of her Patreon. It is a sale that she's doing over the next 2 years. You have to be a Patreon member tier 4 in order to participate, but you can join in at any time. And in order to get the previous pages of the sale, it's only $1, which I think is completely fair. But then that allows you to join in anytime and participate in the sale for just a few bucks more. But I think it's going to turn out really cute. I just haven't made the time for this as much as I should have. It is some big block stitching, so it's not quite as fun as Oh Joyous Day, especially because you don't know how the whole pattern is going to come, which is the fun of a mystery sale. But then maybe lessens my desire to work on it only because I know if I caught up, then I couldn't continue stitching on it. I don't know if that makes sense, but 40 count platinum. And so the last time you saw it, I had like a lot of the house done, but I had to do this, this is going to have the name of the shop in here. And then I've got to continue on doing this part. There's like a little building here, and then that there, and then another little building up here, which I forget what building this is, but the little heart's cute. And this is another bird that I just never finished and started working on the house, so just jumping around here. But I love that weeping willow, and this is going to be super cute, super fun. And so we'll work on catching up with this one a little bit. I guess in April she'll release part 4. So I haven't even finished part 1 really, but this is in part 2. So maybe get part 1 and part 2 done next month in totality, and then I'll be a few parts behind, but that's okay. It's a 2-year sale. I can figure out a time to kind of focus on this a little more and get caught up later on. So that's Hometown, Teresa Kogut, 40 count platinum, 1 strand of floss over 2. And I'm just using called for DMC, so I'm not even going to show off the DMC because there's a whole slew of colors, and they're all the more basic browns, greens, blues, reds, and some pinks. And then the last one that I worked on is in the most recent Just Cross Stitch magazine. So this is it like monthly or just the spring? Spring. So spring 2024. And it is this one by Erin Designs. So all things spring, really cute. Hello Spring with all those cute little details. And I am kind of switching it up for this one, and instead of a more beige or brown fabric, I am using a purple. So this is My Little Dove by xJuDesigns. It's also a 40 count. I don't think the board makes a difference, so we're not going to use that. And the colors pop a little bit more in person. They're coming across a little bit darker, but they are a little bit lighter and they show up really pretty on this fabric. So since the last time you saw it, I finished the hello, I started on the spring, I did this little bird who's super cute, and the rake here I started on. Probably better to just hold it up for you like that. But this is super cute. I'm gonna do this. And that's to get a screen grab for when I post it to YouTube. Sometimes it's hard, you get screen grabs where you're like, and you're like, I don't wanna use that. But yeah, so I am doing all my own kind of conversion. The colors I'm using are very similar, but they're not exactly, well, they're not exactly the same. They're still springy, but I'm doing the house more in a light blue and a medium blue than more the aqua color she chose. I did the bird in more like a pink, and then the hello is kind of just a pale peach, and then the spring is like a darker peach. And the greens are slightly different. So I'm kind of doing my own colors, but not going totally crazy. And so they're all Classic Colorworks. If you could read this, some of these are wrong though. Here. If you can read that and you want to screenshot it, this is how I do it. I am using Copper Penny here, and then I decided, is that Creamy Peach here? I was trying to decide between different colors. I can also just send this to you if you want to know what colors I used, if you want to do something similar. But all pretty Classic Colorworks. So this one is Clay Pot. That's the bird. Colonial Rose. I also put in the bird for the pail and the shovel. This is Baking Tin. Creepin' Jenny for some of the green. It's a very pale green. Caramel. Alex and I were debating. Do you say caramel or caramel? I think I say both. I think it just depends what mood I'm in. Cottage Daisies, pretty yellow. This one was Clouds or something like that, but the tag is no longer. I'm a mess when it comes to my floss. I just throw things in a bag and hope for the best. Creamy Peach. Eve's Leaves. Copper Penny. And Cool Azul. So those are the colors. And I just use these from Amazon to store most of my projects. But yeah, that's all things spring. And I think it's going to be super cute. I haven't stitched on a purple. I really like the purple fabric, and I like the way the colors are coming across. And it's going to be super, super tiny and cute on the 40 count. It's just a very sweet little pattern. So yeah. And there's a lot of really cute patterns in that just cross stitch if you're interested in picking one up before spring is over. So that is all of the whips. So not too bad. A lot of good progress, especially on Lucky and Oh Joyous Day, which makes me happy. I'm actually thinking of doing a monogamous May, a mini monogamous May, and just working on Oh Joyous Day, and then maybe just working on the pattern that I'm just about to show you for the Stitches and Pages book club. And the one reason I haven't maybe focused on some patterns more like that is because I film Flosstubes, and if I just stitch on one thing, that's all I'm gonna have to show. But I don't want that to be the deciding factor on like what I do for plans or whether I stitch on one thing. And I can always show like patterns or have other plans or bring out other whips just to show off. Like I can think of content to fill the time if I focus on just one thing. So I think that might be in the plans for me, and that way I can really make progress on Oh Joyous Day. The only other thing I'm worried about in doing that is getting a little tired of it. I do like having a lot of whips going because I want to just stitch on what I'm in the mood for, and I've only been stitching for 2 years, so I've never been a monogamous stitcher. It's not like I've been stitching for for a really long time, but I've never just stitched on one thing, even from when I started, really. I was playing around with different patterns, and I just like that. I like variety. But I think for May, I can probably do just 1 stitch and a half, because I do want to work on the book club stitch. And so I'm going to talk about that now, but this is kind of haul. Actually, I'll do my market haul first, and then we'll kind of lead into the bookish content with the pattern I'm going to stitch and the book and all of that. And then let's do floss tubers. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place just because I'm like, what order makes the most sense for you as a viewer? Let's do floss tubers, market haul, book club haul, and then we'll go into the bookish content. So, and talking about the book club. So the floss tubers I'm going to recommend. One is a tried and true who I've recommended in the past, but I just watched her most recent floss tube and I had to shout her out again. She always mentions me as well because we're both working on Oh Joyous Day, but that's Sarah of Sarah's Stitchy Spot. And the reason I'm mentioning Sarah this time is because in her latest floss tube, she showed off Strawberry Fields by Blackbird Designs. It's one of their Beatles patterns, and she is stitching it 25 count 1/1, and it is so cute. Like, it's so little and pretty, and I was looking at my 25 count and I was like, I don't know if I can do the 1/1. So good for Sarah, good for you, Sarah, but it's so cute, and I was just like, I love that. So maybe at some point you can convince me to try. I don't know if I would do it with that pattern, but it's a pretty pattern, but it's just so cute. So if you want to see Sarah's beautiful stitching, go check out her channel. I will link her below. And then the other floss tuber is new. She has 3 videos out, and that's Gem, and she is Stitchin' Gem, Jem, and she has really, really pretty designs going. She's got some Plum Street samplers, I think. She maybe has a Blackbird Designs. Super lovely to watch, so sweet. And I just really love her stitching, and she's a great new find, and one I'll definitely be catching all of her episodes as they come out, because she's just really a joy to watch and her stitching is just lovely. So give Gem a follow, especially as a new floss tuber. Welcome her to the community and show her some love. So those are my 2 recommendations. Let's go into market haul. Hopefully I won't get too much glare because these are all still in their plastic. But the first one I got, which I definitely want to start sometime over the summer, and I might not do the quote, is The Dance. This is by Annie of The Proper Stitcher. And she just started designing patterns, I think just last year, and she's just knocking it out of the park. And I thought this one was so cute. And I love the big weeping willow tree. There's a weeping willow tree me and Alex pass on the way to our house a lot of the time, and it's just beautiful. I call her Wendy, and she's just lovely. So I'm very into willow trees lately, and I love this big beehive that's the size of this house, and this funky little house, and all the little stars and suns and little designs. So that's super cute. And the quote is cute. A forest full of stars that hang upon the limbs of magic flowing willows dancing in the wind. And I like it, but it's pretty big and takes up almost half the pattern, and I kind of just love it without the quote. And so I might leave the quote off, and that's a little bit less stitching to do too. But I like how she did the pattern in the grass here too. Just very cute, very pretty. So that'll be soon. And then I got You Got This by the Artsy Housewife. She was big this year for market, lots of people getting her patterns. And I wanted to stitch something that I could put up at work. That would be pretty small for my cubicle, but like not work related, but something that would work to have, you know, in your cubicle. And I gotta have my cup of coffee or I'm not a human in the morning. And I like the You Got This, and sometimes you just need that when you head into work. You just need this owl being like, drink your coffee and you got this. You can do it. So I'm gonna stitch this one for my cubicle at work, and that's gonna be super fun. I love that owl, look at his face. He's so cool. So yeah, and I work at a company, I work in marketing. So I work at a financial firm, and I'm an editor, and I work in marketing. If I ever spell things wrong on Instagram though, I swear I'm a good editor. I don't always edit myself well, and sometimes I'm just tired after editing everybody else's work all day. But if you have a grammar question, let me know. Or you need something edited, I'll help you out. Next one is Caught in a Swirl. This is Kathy Barrick. This one was really popular, just different. I think a lot of people have been saying this one is just unique with like, you really feel the movement of the way this swirls with all the little birds and the flowers and the way she did those leaves and vines. So this one's just different and really fun. So definitely get to stitching that soon. I think that would just be a really funky one to have up. And then this one's huge. I don't even think I realized how big this one is because it doesn't look that big, but then if you look at all that's involved, it really is that big. Serenity by Teresa Kogut. And it is the biggest pattern I will have stitched so far when I do start it. And it is 338 by 340. So she a big girl. But the pattern is really, I mean, it's a lot of pages, but it's each page is, you know, the whole size of this pamphlet. So they're really big. And so it's a really nice pattern. Like this is going to be really easy to follow. And just the way she splits up each page makes it feel a little bit more doable because you can just do it like one page at a time and it makes it seem less daunting. So this is Serenity, and I don't know, I just like that blue house. I love the colors. These are like my colors. I love the deer. We have deer in our backyard, so those are beautiful with the flowers. Just the details, the way she just designs things. She's just got a real eye for like, almost looks like a painting, and I think it's just beautiful. And my idea for this one is I am turning 37 in September, and maybe I would start it on my birthday and hope to finish it by my 40th birthday. So take 3 years to work on it. Seems like that would be enough time. So maybe, we'll see. All of my plans are subject to change based on my own whims. And then the last one is Spring House by Hello from Liz Matthews. Also a pretty popular one. So unique with the two different color fabrics. You just stitch it on the two different fabrics and then you sew them together, which I would need to figure out how to do that. But I just think it's just beautiful. I love all the details with the bunnies and things, but you could almost just stitch the house and not even like stitch this part of it. So that's an option too. And the greenhouse is just so cute. And yeah, it's just really pretty. And of course there's a black kitty. So, whoop, Spring House by Hello from Liz Matthews. So that was my market haul. So those were fun to get in the mail. And so we will kind of head into the more haul slash bookish content, but when I was ordering the pattern that I'm going to stitch for the book club, I also got Little House Needleworks Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And I want to start this one this summer. And I think the first time I saw this pattern might have been in the background of Just Keep Stitching. I think Pam and Steph usually hang this on the wall behind them in the summer. And I love baseball, and it's so cute, like the detail, the popcorn, and you got like Uncle Sam, and they're all dressed kind of old-timey, and I just love baseball and think this would be so cute to hang up for the summer. Before I moved to Pennsylvania, during the pandemic in 2021. And before that, I lived in DC for almost a decade. And while I was in DC, Washington, DC, it was so easy to go to Nats games because you just hop on the metro. I would go after work with friends. I would go with coworkers. I would go to the ballpark at least 5 times a year. Sometimes, I think one year I went to like 12 or 13 games, playoff games, wild card games, all of that. A little bit tougher to get to the Phillies stadium just because you kind of have to drive from where we are, and traffic right around the stadium can be kind of a nightmare. So don't go as often. Alex and I are going to go to a game at some point this summer, but I really only average 1 game, if that, a season now. But I love baseball. I love being in the park, in the sunshine, eating a hot dog, drinking a beer, watching the game. Just my idea of a perfect summer day. It's very relaxing. So I'm going to stitch this. Okay, so let's talk about stitches and pages. So the book that won is a single thread. It got the most votes. I think it got like 48 votes maybe. So I'm really excited for us all to start reading this. So if you don't have your copy yet, pick it up. This is an older book, so it should be easy to get. Check your local library, you know, if you can't afford it, or you just, you know, you're on a budget. I'm sure most libraries probably have this one. Used bookstores or library sales could also be another option to get it cheaper. There's an audiobook version if you want to listen to that or already have a subscription to something that offers audiobooks. So I'm hoping this is easy enough for everyone to access and get a copy of. And so I'll just read the back in case anyone's new here and didn't have a chance to vote or doesn't know what the book is about. So it says, after the Great War took both her beloved brother and her fiancé, Violet Speedwell has become a surplus woman, one of a generation doomed to spinsterhood after the war killed so many young men. Refusing to reconcile herself to a life spent caring for her grieving mother, Violet finds a job in Winchester, home to one of England's grandest cathedrals. There she is drawn into a society of broiderers, women who embroider kneelers for the cathedral, carrying on a centuries-long tradition of bringing comfort to worshippers. With them, Violet finds solace, fulfillment, and community. But when forces threaten her new independence, she must fight to put down roots in a place where women aren't expected to grow. Told in Chevalier's glorious prose, A Single Thread is a timeless story of friendship, love, and a woman crafting her own life. So it sounds super cute. So I'm excited. So let me know, are you joining in? A lot of you are. So we'll talk details in 2 seconds, but I am going to show you my pattern and then I'll tell you kind of like how we're gonna try to handle this, my first go around. So we're gonna see how things go. So the pattern I chose, which took me a long time, because I was like, you all had really great ideas for patterns that could kind of fit with this book or any book. Do something related to books, do something related to, one person really recommended, I liked this recommendation, to do a single thread, like a single color. So a monochromatic stitch where you use a single color, which I haven't done a monochromatic. And I've been wanting to do a modern folk embroidery design for a long time. I went back and forth on whether I wanted to do that because some of the patterns I most like from Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery are larger, and I really don't want to commit to a larger pattern at this time. I'm going to take a sip of water because I've been talking for 40 minutes. I really want to finish Oh Joyous Day and make progress on some of the larger ones I have. So I was like, I don't want to do something super big, like as big as and intricate as Jacob's can be. So I went back and forth on that, added some to cart, moved them from the cart, couldn't figure it out. I was like, well, I could do something like book themed, thought about that, just finished a bookish themed stitch, so I wasn't sure about that. I spent a long time on like Etsy and 123 Stitch trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And finally, this one caught my eye, and it's a market release that I hadn't seen. And I feel like I've seen most of the market releases, but this is La-Di-Da, one stitch at a time. And so I went stitching themed. Since a single thread, she helps embroider. It's kind of got a stitching angle to the book, and so that's what I decided to do. And I just think this is beautiful. It's 191 by 119, so it's like a medium-sized pattern. For me, that's medium. And I just love that majestic house, those pretty trees. I love the colors. And it says, beautiful things come together one stitch at a time. And I feel like that's true of this book club. It'll come together one stitch at a time, and we'll all join in and take part of something fun and beautiful. And the colors are gorgeous. Like, look at these beautiful weak Styleworks. I can take these out of the bag. I'm just gonna crinkle for 1 second. But these are all the called for. I had a gift card, so I was like, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna get the pattern. I'm gonna get the called for. And these are like beautiful. Just look at those colors. Just gorgeous. So this is gonna be so fun to stitch, so colorful. And you know, springy, summery, so it's a perfect time of year. So that's what I chose. And you do not have to stitch this one, but if you're looking at it and you're like, ooh, I like that, you can consider stitching it. And I also got Picture This Plus Legacy. I'm going to do it 36 count. So pretty modeling on this. This is going to be, I think, really pretty with these colors. And then with the pattern, I think it's going to be super duper pretty. It's actually stitched on wheat by Fibers on a Whim, which I'm going to think is probably pretty similar to what I chose. So that is what I'm stitching. So stitch what you want. Do a new start. If you really can't do a new start or you really don't want to, you can certainly work on a whip. Maybe pull out a whip that, again, is stitching related, or like that one viewer suggested, monochromatic, or history. Friendship is a big theme in this book, so maybe something themed around friendship. Whatever you want, you know, have fun with it, make it your own. Stitch the same thing as me if you'd like, but definitely want people to just go where you want to go with this, and pick up the book and start stitching and start reading on April 1st. So that's Monday. It's 1 week from today. And then what we're going to do is just read the book and stitch along throughout the next 2 months, so all of April and most to all of May. And then probably in my next video, or at least my video toward the end of April, in the description and probably on Instagram, and I'll leave a community post as well. Ooh, sorry, I got a low battery warning. Sorry about that if my finger just pops out of nowhere. Might need to get a new phone. This one dies too quickly. What I was saying, in a video toward mid to end of April, I will post a poll and I will see what times work best for people for a Zoom. There are a lot of people interested, so I'm going to try to accommodate as much as I can, but not everyone, it's not going to work for everyone, right? If you think about trying to get together with 5 friends on a Saturday afternoon and schedules just don't align, think of trying to hold a book club with like possibly up to 50 people interested. So I'm going to do 2 Zooms so that I can kind of accommodate to not have 50 people in one Zoom, which would not allow everyone to have a voice or to talk. It'd be overwhelming to have that many people. So I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do a weeknight. So anyone who works or it's easier to get together on a weeknight, I'll do 1 weeknight, and then I'll do 1 weekend, probably during the day, either maybe in the morning, to accommodate anyone who's abroad, or, you know, in the early afternoon. We'll kind of see what works for most people. I'll do like a Survey Monkey or some sort of poll where there's a link. You'll go in, I'll pick a few days and times, and you'll vote for the one that's best for you. Once we do that, and we choose the evening session and the weekend session, that is when I will ask you to email me. So don't send me anything right now. There is nothing to join in by contacting me specifically right now. But once we pick a time, I'll have you email me and you'll say, I want to attend the Wednesday night 6 o'clock session or whatever it might be. And then I will use that to kind of collect the list and send out a Zoom link in advance of us meeting. But don't send me anything right now, because when you email me, I want you to tell me which session. You'll have to pick one, because it's just going to make it easiest for me to say, these are the people who want to be here at night, and these are the people who want to be here on the weekend, or whatever it might be. But there's other ways we can interact. You can email me if you're not an Instagram user. My email is linked below. I think it's just novelstitcher@gmail.com. I want to say that's right. I don't use my email too much. I think it's just novelstitcher@gmail.com, but double check the description box in case I mess that up. You can email me if you just want to like say hi, if you just want to chat, if you want to send me a picture of your stitching or what you're stitching on, or just tell me. Leave comments in this video, of course. Post on Instagram, post a picture of your book, of your stitching, DM me, reach out in any way you want. The only thing I would ask you to be careful of on both Instagram, in the comments, and any contact with me is if you are a fast reader and you chug along ahead and you get a lot of the book done, just be careful about spoilers. Everybody reads at a different pace. I'm definitely not going to start it till the 1st. I'm going away next week on a trip for work, and so I probably will do some reading on the plane, probably do quite a bit of reading on the plane actually, and a little bit like in the evenings, but I might not be reading as fast as you might be, and I'm very anti-spoiler. Like, this book has been out for a while. Probably nothing like crazy surprising happens in it, but I still like the experience of reading and not knowing what's going to happen. So just be aware of that. Be careful about that. Someone suggested maybe starting a Facebook group. If you really want to connect with each other and you think that Facebook group might be a way to kind of put everyone, you know, together in a community and interact, I can consider starting a Facebook group. The only thing, again, I'm wary of is anyone posting about the book and wanting to have a discussion about the book in the Facebook group before everyone else has finished, because even if people don't read all the comments, something could pop up and you might have something spoiled for you. So I just want to be careful about that. But if you want to connect in a Facebook group or have other suggestions on ways we can connect with each other over the next 2 months before we actually meet, let me know. I'll be posting my almost regular every 2-week videos, and I'll probably talk lightly about the book. I won't give away any spoilers, but I'll say if I'm enjoying it, I'll tell you at what page I'm at or how far in I am and show off my stitching here, and then you can hop in the comments and we can chat there. So I'm excited. And again, this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so we're just gonna see how this goes. And if the Zoom doesn't work and there's too many people in the room, or the times don't work, or we want to try a YouTube live instead, we can just play around, see how it goes for this first go around, and kind of fix it up and do something different next time if we need to. And if you can't join in for this round, if you know the book is just not up your alley or you just don't have the time, it'll be, you know, every 2 months for as long as I have the energy to do it. And so you'll be able to join in at another point. And if you've read the book, feel free to reread it, or just even like skim it a little and join in. And you also do not have to feel obliged when you join the Zoom meeting to be on camera or to even say anything. I want some people to be on camera, but it looks like I have enough interest that some people definitely will. I just didn't want to be on Zoom with only me. Have you ever been in meetings? I don't know. I'm in meetings sometimes and like everybody else has their camera off, and you join the work meeting with your camera on and you're like, absolutely not. And you turn your camera off because you don't want to be the only person sitting there with your face on the screen. But I do not think that will happen. So if you're the kind of person where you're not super comfortable with the technology or being on camera or even talking, just sit in and listen. I found that at the Jingle Ball. I went the year before last year and there were so many people talking in some of the rooms. I just decided to sit back and just listen. And that's completely fine. I think someone else said that they had some hearing impairment. Not exactly sure how to address something like that. I don't know if there's like caption options in Zoom, but I'll look into what I can do to make it accessible for everyone. And, you know, if anyone wants to use the comment box and post in it, I'll read the comments out loud. I'll track the comment box, and we can use that for people who want to submit a question or a thought but are a little shy about voicing things or have some other impairment that makes it hard for them to speak. We can certainly do it that way. When everyone's talking, I don't know if there's a way to do captions, but there might be. So I will look into all the options to make sure that it's accessible and everyone feels comfortable, feels welcome. And, you know, remembering these meetings that kindness rules. Everyone's going to have a different opinion about the book, and you can like it or not like it, and that's completely fine. We'll just be kind to one another and respect one another's opinions, because I really feel that this book for me is not the same book for you, right? Anytime you read something, you bring your own life experiences, your own worldview, your own thoughts, what you love, what you don't love about reading and about whatever subject matter this is, into the conversation. So we're all gonna have a different opinion, and some of us might not have the same opinion, and as long as we're cordial to each other, it's okay to have different opinions, and that makes it fun to have these kind of discussions and point out something like, oh, I love this character, and for someone to be like, oh, you did? Yeah, I can see that. I couldn't connect to them for some reason, and you know, that'll be fun. So I'm excited. If you have any questions or anything I didn't make clear, put them in the comment box. But again, Everybody grab stitching, either something new or a whip, something maybe related to the book if you'd like. On April 1st, grab your book, grab your stitching, get reading and get stitching. We'll talk throughout the next couple of months, and then we'll meet sometime in May. I will figure out when works best in a few weeks, when my plans solidify, because Alex and I might go away to DC at some point in May. My mom might visit. We're heading into the summer months, so I'll try to, get my schedule in order, and in a few weeks we'll get closer to deciding what week and then which night and which day, or what weeks. I'll give options when we do like the poll or the survey and try to find what works best for the majority of people. Won't work for everyone, but we'll try to do what we can to get everyone to enjoy this and to be able to participate. And so my next video will probably actually be 3 weeks from now. I am going to California, to San Diego next week on Wednesday, and getting back over the weekend for a work trip. Never gone on a trip sponsored by work like that before, so it's kind of exciting. I'm going to a conference, and so that'll be fun, I think. I'm a little nervous about traveling on my company's dime. It's different than heading out there just for fun, and also I'm not there for very long, so it's a bit of a ways to go for just a few days, but it should be fun. I'm traveling with my boss. She's very nice though. She's a wonderful woman, and it'll be fine, but that's a different kind of experience, so we'll see how that goes. But because of that, I'm going to be too tired that weekend to film, so we'll give it another week. I don't know how much stitching I'll get done anyway. I'll bring 1 or 2 projects with me, but plain stitching I don't think is for me. I think I would get kind of like sick or feel a little off if I tried stitching. I just don't think that's gonna sit well with me. So I'll bring my book. I can read on planes, definitely done that before. So I'll bring this book and probably something else, maybe something fantasy if I need like to switch it up, and some music or a movie on my iPad, or we'll see if they have movies on the plane. And I'll bring stitching just to do in the hotel in the evenings if I'm not too tired. So that is everything, and that is the plan. So I hope you're all well. I hope you are excited about the Stitches and Pages book club. I hope I didn't ramble too much for this video and everything came across okay. I did just get off work, so I'm a little tired, but it should be a good April. And this book club is going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll join in, and happy reading and happy stitching, everyone. See you in a few weeks.